so much, SG, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for turning up very early. It's because we thought that we should do this early because we have a very, very packed day of so many activities. There is that time in the life of a nation, such as we are now, when I think we need to speak to each other candidly and very sincerely about how we see the affairs of our country going. And most of what I'm going to do this morning, I feel the weight of responsibility on my shoulders as a political leader in a party, number one, and then secondly, as someone who had the privilege of serving as the Cabinet Minister for Interior and Coordination of National Government, and therefore sat in the apex of the national security infrastructure in the country for about 5 years. We have spoken about these things for a while, but it's now abundantly clear that the President and his government have chosen violence as a weapon for political survival and as a weapon for political engagement. And I'm not going to start where usually people start with these tired cliches about we condemn in the strongest terms possible, we ask for action. I'm not going to go that direction. Because what we are dealing with is abundantly clear to all of us that we have come to a point where certain serious conversations must happen in this country and choices must be made. This is not rocket science. You don't need a degree in geophysics to see what is going on in the country. This weekend alone, from the stoning incident in Mulot that affected my two vehicles, to the stoning incident in Nakuru Town West that affected DCP leaders, and then Salga, and then yesterday in Homabay. It's so clear to everyone that, one, there's a pattern to this. Second, there's very clear acquiescence of government in this because you look at the behavior of the security forces on this matter. And three, you can see, blatantly, a case of, determination on the part of government to engage in this level of violence. From my experience, I want to tell Kenyans very sincerely, I do not think and I cannot see how the scale of violence in Homabay and the activity that happened there could have happened without the knowledge of the National Security Council and without the knowledge especially of the President. Because I have been in that environment before. The President receives executive intelligence briefings wherever he is, even if he is in Greenland or attending the UN General Assembly. Such intelligence information is gathered and the President is briefed very regularly. So when you look at what happened in Homabay, it's crime at industrial scale. The planning, you can see clearly the choreography, the management of that, and the resources that could have been spent in that clearly shows you that this is something that was premeditated, it had been happening, it was planned. The next question you ask is, where was the county security team led by the county commissioner in Homabay? Where was the regional security team led by the regional commissioner in Kisumu? In most cases, unless the operations of government have changed in a very significant manner, and my dear Kenyans, listen to me, this is something I know like the back of my hand. Unless the management of government has changed in any significant manner, the situation in Homabay is one where even the regional police commander should have taken control and taken over the command of what was happening in Homabay and assembled resources. I am aware, because the deployment has not changed. I am aware that in that region, the police have got even special resources. There are border police, there is a GSU. They would have been able to mobilize sufficient resources to address what was happening, but they couldn't because clearly there was a sense of acceptance on the part of the security forces that ought to have happened. The tragedy of it all is that now we have been warning everybody, and that's why I'm not going to go into those, usual silly niceties of saying we warn, we condemn. We are already in a crisis. We have now begun our final descension into anarchy as a country. Let's not pretend about it. When you look at the scale of destruction, the pain and the losses in Homabay, into chaos. The president and his government have chosen. Because ask yourself the question, you can go far back to the attacks in Odaya